So yeah.
So yeah, I will give this to the what was his name again? Let me find him on here.
Zahir.
Her. Oh, was it her? I thought.
No, his name is
The
Zahir.
wall walkers.
Yeah,
Zahir,
he's a man,
right.
but his name is Zahir.
Yeah, Zahir.
he's Zahir.
Okay, and he takes it and he looks at it, and this is evidence that the Princess Man was paid from the ship's take.
Yes.
This is all right. Now what we need is a pretense to have actually seized this book. Since we have no authority over the ships in the harbor, there's no way for us to got our hands on this book without breaking the law.
Well, didn't I not have a pretense to search that ship the other day?
Says you did, but not to seize a book.
Hmm.
And at this point, the book's already been sent away to have a scribe copy the material out of it, so they have it.
Yeah. So once it's duplicated, yeah, how best to go about manufacturing something or other? Because I really can't think of anything.
No, this is
if the wall walkers don't have authority in the harbor.
No, this is very much outside of his comfort zone as well.
He's thinking, "Oh shit, why did we do this again?"
Because we needed something.
It's like, so now we'll have something we can hold over Prince Humberth.
It doesn't have to be presented as well. No, it'd have to be something that could stand up in court.
So maybe it doesn't. You've done good work. Let's go back to the ship.
Thank you, sir.
Keep your head down. If you find anything else, report it to me. If you can,
Yes,
keep note of this Eldove's coming and going as well.
Yes, sir. I'll go back to the ship then.
So, Eldove, what leads were you going to chase down today?
We're gonna set up a meeting with the leader of the Guild of Wall Walkers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this would be hilarious.
So, that happens. So you go there.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you're granted the meeting, and you're brought into Zahir's room. And at first glance, he knows who you are, and you get the sense that he doesn't want you to be sitting in his room, but you do come with the force of Prince Humberth behind you, so he has to hear you out.
He's related to that other person I just talked to, right? Or did she just say that she talked to him?
They met in private.
She's the head of the Guild of Justice.
So
right,
yeah, he and her have to kind of have to work hand in hand.
So, Ranafu is the woman that you spoke to. She is actually a member of House Nabiri. She is Martad's older sister. Okay. Zahir is not related to any noble house. He's a commoner. He served as a soldier. He served as a wall walker. He worked his way up the ranks.
I'm gonna say I spoke to the leader of the Guild of Justice yesterday, and she mentioned your name as someone who might be interested in some of the things I have to say.
Well, then say them.
I'm going to give her the same speech to him that I gave to the Nalna yesterday.
To give the wall walkers authority over the nobility, is this what you're speaking of?
Not just the wall walkers alone, but also the Guild of Justice themselves.
He says, for example, the authority to arrest an elven princeling who cavorts with pirates.
At that point, I was just going to laugh. I'd be like, do you mean the friendly Flumph?
Deception.
Deception?
Yeah, because you'd have to bluff your way through that. Because, yeah, it's the dumb name, but you do know that they are pirates. They have considerable treasure, and they have quite a lot of
They
martial
haven't done
prowess.
any piracy as far as Eldove is aware,
That's true.
as he's been there. And they also killed a necromancer ship and took his treasure. As far as I'm concerned, they didn't steal anything.
Is that the case that you make to him?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not lying about this. This is how you sincerely feel about the Flumph, yes?
I feel very... the reason I feel that strongly about it is because of the current captain, who is a noble, who I have great faith in.
Okay. So you're saying the Flumph is not a pirate ship?
I'm saying that they were a pirate ship, but they haven't gotten up to any piracy as long as I've known them. As well, they were part of the noble undertaking, I would say, of rescuing the prince.
Let's see, how does
I'd
this...
say the closest thing that they are at the moment to is a group of adventurers.
And how does this play into your speech about cracking down on the nobility, giving me authority that I need to bring criminals to justice?
Well, I would say that so far the nobility has done their duty in dispatching of a pirate ship of necromancers, who you surely don't want in the waters around this city.
He says, well, surely not, but I have no authority on what goes on in the harbor anyway. So the question is, what is the Jarl prepared to do?
I'm going to say that... Well, personally, I don't speak for the Jarl, I speak for Prince Humberth, and even then I am only one of his advisors, but you've heard my thoughts on the matter.
This is well...
And I would do my best to forward these thoughts at any opportunity.
I can't help but think of Saints Row and say, "No, they're not pirates, they're puckish rogues."
He says, I had a deal with Talmar Thod about if he had come to power, he would give me the authority he needs, but then he got skittish when he found that this power that he would grant to me and the Warwalkers would eat into his business dealings. And he backed off of it. So if you get me word that the Jarl will increase the authority that I need in the streets of Qisca to keep his land safe, then I'll consider changing my mind.
That sounds like, just not to get all out of character for a second here, but that sounds like a really good deal for the Jarl, given that like half the nobles in the city are his political enemies.
And that's exactly the sense that you get. Like, you haven't spent a lot of time around the Jarl and his family, but House Estenu has been in power for so long in Qisca that they've become, like, almost complacent. Like, they haven't been playing the political game they should have been playing all along. And, yeah, how many of these noble houses stand against him?
Yeah, like most of them.
4 of them, but one of them is House Hamu, and that kind of doesn't count, but...
I'm going to tell him that I appreciate him seeing me, and I will do my best to get him that assurance.
By the way, if I find out you're lying about this pirate vessel, this is a dungeon that's so dark even you can't see in it.
I find that hard to believe.
Shall I take you there?
I'm not interested in getting into a pissing contest with this guy at the moment, so I'll tell him I'm assured that his dungeons are very secure, and I will get the information that he needs from the Jarl.
And so, how do you intend to approach the Jarl about this?
I don't intend on approaching the Jarl at all about this. I intend on approaching the daughter of the Jarl about this and the prince.
Which daughter?
The one that the prince is marrying.
Okay. Her name
with
is
the prince, like, because I have sent a message informing the prince of the actions that I've taken so far, like keeping him up to date.
Okay. So you're going to go back to the palace and speak to Humberth and the Jalna?
Yeah.
Okay. What are Orphan and not Khalil doing for the afternoon?
Let's see. Do you want to go first, Khalil?
No, I'm still thinking. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was still thinking too.
Okay.
I was trying to think about what else I could do to possibly dig up some more dirt. The only other thing that I could see about that is with this guy running around being the man about town. Like,
and
he's already...
Eldove has not been making... He's not made any secret of all these meetings he's been having. He's been talking to a lot of important people over the past couple of days.
Yeah.
And he had two of them on the ship that you saw.
Yeah. So,
I've been referring to the ship as, like, yeah, this group of pirates that rescued me, like I haven't been hiding anything whatsoever.
yeah, so it's like at this point with all the stuff that's been going on, like it seems like it should be no small deal to prove that this guy has fallen in with pirates.
Wait, were you following me this whole time?
No.
Like because he was supposed to keep trying. I'm just wondering if he saw me just walk in and go talk to his boss.
No, he didn't see that.
No, I was at the ship.
No, his boss
Okay.
asked him to keep track of your comings and goings to the ship.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
he's not supposed to be shadowing you around town. So, okay, you get an audience with Prince Humberth, and when you ask that the Jalna also be present, like, he's a little taken aback, but because she's usually not... Like, her younger sister is... Nalna of a particular guild, but Jalna, the princess, Humberth's bride, doesn't have any political power at all. So he's a little surprised that you asked for her presence, but nonetheless, she's able to find her, and you're able to get the three of you together in a private meeting.
I'm going to ask for... first of all, I tell them all about... Like, I go into detail about what I did that day and the day before.
And Humberth is very impressed with your efforts so far, and the Jalna looks very pleased.
And I tell them in addition that, just as an aside, I think that House Hamu might be open to their vote being swayed, because he seemed very discontented yesterday night.
And the Jalna replies, she says, well, the problem with House Hamu is that it's just one man. He has no wife, no children, no heir, no family, no power, no money, no nothing. Just a vote. 4 walls and a vote. And she says this very contemptuously.
Luckily, all we need at the moment is a vote. He can keep his 4 walls.
Humberth says, I agree. Can this man be bought?
I find that very likely, having visited him.
Humberth looks at you and says, as you know, I have no coin. We would have to go behind the Jol's back. The Jol has already refused him.
So the Jal... And this is me speaking to the Jalna. So you feel that your father... What steps is your father willing to take to keep power?
She says, he's not willing to buy votes, that's for sure. She says that very contemptuously as well. And you get the sense that this is the difference between Astenu and Nibiri right now. Nibiri is willing to buy votes. And they have done that quite a bit. House Astenu has not been doing that.
I'm going to say to her... Well, it's all well and good to have principles about gaining votes. Very soon, it won't matter how the votes were obtained one way or the other if you were to lose. Whereas, at least if you were to win, you could do your best to increase the stability of the nation. And related to that, and then I'll go into my meeting with the leader of the Guild of the Wallwalkers.
Do you tell him that you met with the Nalna of the Guild of Justice in the road?
Yes.
You do?
Now I'm going to tell her... Yeah, absolutely. I tell him that... Because I told them all about the night before.
Okay. Now, at that, Humberth says, well, then we found a chink in Nibiri's armor. If we can divide them along this issue of justice...
I think that the Nalna is genuinely interested in the fate of the city, and if you were able to show that you were... able to provide a greater security for the people here, then she would be willing to cast her vote your way.
The Jalna doesn't seem to know what you're talking about. She says, well, what do you mean, the security of the city? Is the city in danger?
I'm going to explain to him that from my visits to the various nobility, they have become disillusioned with the Naviri's desire to keep power, or desire to do what it takes to maintain that power. And as such, the nobility have been taking as many liberties as they can.
And like as you're saying this blank, like her eyes roll back, like this blank look on her face. This is a 16-year-old girl who's never left the palace walls. These words are just going right over her head.
She doesn't super need to understand me. She just needs to think that I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. And Humber says, well, let's come back to Hamu for now. That's one vote that we know we can get. How much coin have you got, Eldove?
Oh, I have all kinds of fucking coin. Let me go. Let me go over here. I say just kind of like, and by the way, my holdings back in the town are not very extensive. Like, I have a couple trade dealings, but nothing like this amount. But I say that at the moment, just on me, I have 520 platinum pieces with a scattering of gold.
Humber says, my goodness. Says, well, the Jarl won't approve, and he doesn't have to know. But you should meet with this Phobos. If he's disillusioned with Nibiri and disillusioned with Estenu, then maybe you can give him enough coin to shut him up for a few days. Get the vote to go our way.
I'm going to say, all right, and about the wall walkers?
Being from Dunfoss, Humberth and his family are big sticklers for the law, and a noble house that abuses its power does not stay powerful for long. In Dunfoss, the royal family is absolute. They control most of the power, most of the military, most of the gold. They're not really beholden to any of the other houses. They've held power by divine right for centuries, basically. So what has been described to you by the Guild of Justice and the Guild of the Wallwalkers sounds very much how these same institutions already work in Dunfoss. So Humberth is very much amenable to the idea of giving this power to the Wallwalkers. And he tells you that he thinks he can put it to those terms to the Jarl to get the Jarl to agree as well.
I'm going to tell him that as soon as you're able to get the Jarl to agree, if you were to send that information to the... Oh, God, what's his rank again? The Nodal of the Wallwalkers, I feel that he would be very easily persuaded to our side.
Humber says, then I will do so. Is there anything else to report?
Not at this moment.
He, again, thanks you for your time. Now, just to be clear, though, he's not offering any sort of compensation for any coin you spend on House Hamu.
Like, this is much more interested in the political benefits of
but just the kind of man Humberth is. Like this is your duty as a man of his service. So, all right. So before the party tonight,
all right. I'm gonna spend the afternoon practicing my sham because I'm a little rusty with it. Haven't had one in a while. Haven't played one in a while. I noticed the way that Fred didn't seem too impressed, so I'm just gonna spend a little while reacquainting myself with the instrument.
Where do you practice?
Oh, I get cut off a little bit there.
Oh, where do you practice?
Oh, back in my room of the ship.
Okay.
Or back in the quarters.
Then, Khalil, as you go about your business on the ship, you hear this sham music coming from the barracks down below deck all afternoon
nice,
long.
But well, maybe for the first 10 minutes it's nice, but then I'd give anything to be anywhere but here.
And when you return to the ship,
flute.
Orphan, you do see this new crewman that's been brought on that you haven't seen before.
I don't think much of it. I probably knew at some point, or heard at some point that we were going to be hiring new crew.
Yeah,
so.
Tarin has mentioned it in your presence.
Yeah.
Alright, so what are the rest of your actions for today, Eldove?
Okay, first I need to get an invitation to that party, because I think that that's a good opportunity to meet people, so I'm gonna try to get in touch with Fred.
With Fred? Where do you go to look for Fred?
What was the guild that I heard he was at? The Songsmiths Guild or something?
This particular party is going to be happening at the Guild Hall of the Songbirds of Isis.
Yeah, but the last you heard, it was
The last
Fred
I heard,
going-
it was the
he was going to visit the Guild of Song.
Yeah,
the
which-
Guild of Song.
in
So
the
I
crafting
head
store.
over to the Guild of Song.
And it's, like I described to Nick earlier, it's this instrument-making workshop, and you're greeted by a friendly clerk.
I ask if he's seen Fred recently.
And he is not. He and the Nolna left some time ago, but...
Do you know where they were headed?
So I would imagine over to the market ward to get prepared for the celebration tonight.
I thank him for his time, and I head over to the market ward.
Okay. And the guild hall of the Songbirds of Isis, this particular guild doesn't serve any practical function in town. It's a guild of music and bards and entertainment and whatnot. So it's not a tavern per se, it's just a collection of performers. That's what the guild hall is for. There's no permanent residence here except for the All. He considers his particular station to be religious in nature, and he fancies himself a priest of Isis, but nobody really believes him.
Sees him as that.
So yeah, going to this place, you see all manner of good-natured people making fine music, and before too long, you do find Fred.
All right, I say, Fred, how are things going?
He says, "Well, it looks to be set to be a great party indeed. I'll be performing. Orphan will be performing for some reason."
Have you
He's
made any
jealous.
progress on your meetings with the Songsmiths guilds?
He says, "Everything's going according to plan. As far as I know, they're in line to support the Jal. They see no reason not to. The Jal is a lover of fine music and fine arts."
Excellent work, Fred. Speaking of the party, do you think you can get me an invitation?
He nods. "I'm sure that I can put in a word for you."
I'm going to thank him and say I'll see him at the party later that night.
He nods and looks forward to it.
Alright, so that taken care of, I would probably head over to Hamu.
And like I described the house last session, it's not derelict, it's not falling apart, but it's very clearly like the parcels of land surrounding the house, what once might have been his courtyard, it's all been sold off and repurposed. And again, the same disheveled man greets you at the door, the man that you saw that night, the man you saw last night at the Nibiri feast. He's not drunk anymore, he looks very, very sick, actually.
I'm going to say, greetings, Aphobus. And what's wrong? You look very ill.
And he looks at you and says, "Are you mocking me?"
I'm going to say, only in the sense that I feel that I have had that same affliction as you very recently.
I very much doubt that. He's like, "The affliction I have is everything in the world has been taken from me and then promised and then taken again. So you might as well
like
come
to go
in."
back to the beginning of that cycle?
He laughs. He says, "What can you offer me? What promises can you make that you won't keep?"
How about a promise that we can start the... I'll head inside, by the way. I'm not
Yeah.
going to just keep this man on his doorstep.
He offers you no food, no drink, no hospitality. Just the open door. That's it. And coming inside the house, there's very, very sparse furnishings, if at all. Everything of value in this place has been sold. This is like the saddest level of nobility you've ever seen in your life.
I'm very disappointed, but I'm going to say I heard your problems with the House Nibiri the other night.
Yes, problems. That Marthad is a dirty liar. That's the problem.
How would you feel about having a promise made to you that couldn't be broken?
No such promises exist.
A promise that has already been taken care of has. How about if you promise yourselves to support the prince at the next vote, I can assist you with making your house look a little more presentable, perhaps turn your fortunes around.
He says, "Let me tell you what I intend to do on that vote. I intend to walk in the guild house, flop out my manhood, and urinate all over it. With any luck, I'll splash the lot of them. They can't kill me, they can't arrest me, they can't touch me, but they can't get rid of me. So I'm just going to be the ghost in their hall."
how about if instead we get you a nice chambers here for you to take care of that, and you can spend a little bit less time around them as well.
What exactly is it? What is the Jal promising through his golden-haired proxy?
Indoor plumbing, it sounds like.
I tell you what, I've been making a number of trades around the craftsman's wards. You come with me, we pick out some furnishings for your home to begin with. We get you a proper chamber pot. We give you a certain sum of money after the vote, and in return you go in there, you spend 5 minutes, you cast your vote, and you leave.
And who should I vote for? I should write in myself. That's what I should do. Jal Hamu. That sounds good.
Let me tell you, if you were the Jal, you'd have to see these people every day. You don't want that.
Nalmathod promised me 50,000 pieces of gold to get my business up and running again. Turn my family. With that money, I could attract a wife. I could sire an heir. I could make House Hamu brilliant again. And then he cut the dangled carrot away. What can you offer me? Give me a number.
Well, I certainly can't offer him 50,000 pieces of gold. Jesus Christ.
You cannot.
50,000 pieces of gold is an awfully large number. However, since he hasn't paid you anything at all, that number would be a lot closer to 0, wouldn't it?
Was that how you? Actually how you word it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna say, how about if instead I give you 1/10 of that number, but I actually give it to you?
And it stings. You see it on his face. The words sting. 5,000 for a vote. 5 minutes of my time.
5,000 for 5 minutes seems like a very good day's work to me.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing fucking nice-ass clothing is what I'm wearing.
Like nice boots, nice... Like a nice cloak, like...
Absolutely.
5,000 sounds fair. I want those boots, that cloak, and those breeches, too.
Let's see. I'm glad to see someone else with a taste of fashion. I'll have a set sent over to you later today.
He says no.
In fact, I'll send you 5 of them.
He says no, I want them now. I want to go drinking in them. I want to dirty them up, bring them home, and sleep with a whore.
This guy's such an asshole. I tell you what, how about you don't take the clothes, and instead you don't get treated like a whore by the House of Nibiri.
Just another creature of the Jal. Too fancy pants to lower himself down amongst the common folk, which he says with great contempt. You can't even remove your boots in my presence.
Actually, you know what? I have a set of spare clothes with me right now.
You do. They're not as nice as the ones you're wearing.
No, but I tell you what. How about we exchange clothes right now?
Roll a wisdom check real quick. DC 10.
All right.
I don't know if I'd put on anything he's wearing.
Oh, I'm gonna burn it as soon as we get outside. I might burn it in front of him. 19.
You're negotiating over various pieces of clothes, and you get... He doesn't care about your clothes. He wants just to see you humiliated. He wants to see you brought down to his level. He wants the satisfaction of it.
It's basically impossible to get brought down to his level.
So you'll get your vote, but I want the boots, the cloak, the breeches, and 5,000 pieces of gold.
Let's see, how far am I willing to take? We're inside, right? There's nobody around.
No, you're inside.
I tell you what, you can have them all, just so long as you tell anyone who asks that You follow the fine fashion stylings of Eldove.
He laughs. He says, I'll tell everybody I buggered your blind, and you'll like it if you get my vote.
If you want to tell folk that you like to bugger half-elves, you're welcome to it.
He says, he gives you a little kissy face, says, let's you and me make a little quarter elf, what you say?
I would, but I'm worried you can't get it up enough to be man enough for me.
Roll another charisma check.
I like this guy. We might go drinking together.
Let's go drinking in Horn.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him a set of clothes, make him little mini Eldove.
Oh, that's a 2.
Oh,
Because
fucking Horned Orphan
got no way.
cock blocked my 17. But wait, it's a 7 because I do have a fucking ridiculous charisma score.
Yeah, but you needed at least a 12. So sorry.
Alright.
So
Got cock blocked.
you try to follow him into this like sparring of insults, like kind of meeting him on his own battlefield a little bit, and for a minute or two it seems like he's building a grudging respect for you, but at the end he grows tired of the game and he says, "You have my terms."
Yeah, what the fuck? I'll swap out my clothes right now and give them to him.
Alright, so you strip there for good old Phobos, and he laughs at the tiny bulge. And your
I
half-elf
raise my eyebrows and
boxers.
say, you like what you see.
And do you have the money on you, or was your money in somewhere else?
Oh, I have it on me.
Alright, so he wants 5,000 gold, and he puts on the boots, the breeches, and the cloak, and he makes a show of looking all regal.
I say, it looks very fine, doesn't it?
And he takes the money. He says, "Very well, I'll vote for this, y'all."
So, glad to have your vote, and I'll see you at the vote.
At the polls.
At the polls.
Now,
Yeah.
late in the afternoon, most of the heads of houses are at the arena for the celebration.
Wait, this is late in the afternoon, though?
Yeah, this is going to happen late in the afternoon before the party begins.
Okay, I went and bought some new clothes in the meantime.
Very well.
I want to be very clear about this.
Gotcha. You don't want to walk around with your dick flopped out. Got it.
No, I have some very nice clothes.
So, whether or not any of you attend the arena is kind of irrelevant, because the word spreads through the town very quickly that at this great gathering of people, Talmar Thod gave a speech, giving his intention to move forward with a motion of no confidence against the Jal. And this is seconded and thirded by many guild leaders present, to the great surprise of the general population. Like, a lot of people, they knew there was a political upheaval in order, but a lot of people, like, this is unheard of. It's very rare for anybody to actually go through with this. In Qiscan history, usually the end of term for a ruling family ends when, like, the last Jal of it, the last, like, applicable Jal of that family dies, and the next of kin happens to be of another noble house or some such. So for Nabiri to go ahead and give a motion of no confidence for the Jal, and he quotes things like, the Jal does not care about the common folk of Qisca and of the security and the open borders of our great bazaar and the workings of our great magic school of senses and the trade with other nations, and he gives this rousing speech. And the Jal and his family stand very stoic. Like, they understood this was coming. They knew, but they don't really retaliate against it. So the way it works is now this will force a vote at the guild hall in the day after tomorrow, which will be the day after the final day of the tournament. After all of the tournament things quiet down, they're going to call a meet at the guild hall and actually have this vote. And that brings us to tonight with the party.
All right.
Nobody thought to invite Khalil.
Do you want to go to the party, Khalil?
Not really.
Because Eldove is at the party. And you could very easily get in just on the pretense that you're a wall walker and your boss has asked you to keep an eye on this Eldove creature.
Yeah, I could do that.
So if you want to be at the party, you actually have pretense to get in. And it is a rousing party. It is very, very nice. Like I said, it's by invitation only. All of you had some kind of pretense to get in on it.
Yeah.
Great music. Most of it is Qisca music, but there is the Nolna of the Guild of Song has made an effort to bring as much foreign music from outside lands as possible. So you have an old stout dwarf sitting cross-legged in one corner, and in front of me is just a big drum. And he's going to bang on this drum and play the song of his people. They have a Tiefling flute player. It's totally a flute.
Screw you. Die.
And then they have various other artists that are going to be performing. And the celebration is kind of it's the artist's capstone to the whole tournament's festival week.
I want to hear Orphan play.
Okay. We can skip to that part of the night. So, Orphan.
All right.
Go ahead. Like, what would you do at the party? Like, are you schmoozing with people, or are you just kind of sitting there nervous, or?
No, I'll schmooze.
Okay.
I walk around, try to introduce myself to people who seem interesting.
Now, most of the people here are members of these particular 3 guilds, and a lot of these are artists, people who are kind of out of touch with the common man a little bit. Like, they don't do anything practical. They like to create beautiful things, but the things that they create don't necessarily have monetary worth. So you have a lot of these people are starving artists. A lot of them are members of noble, not necessarily noble, but wealthy houses who just don't need to work or don't need to, don't need to work for a living, basically.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people, they don't regard you with the same disdain that other Qiscans have. Like, they regard you more with curiosity than disdain. And when they hear that you're going to play tonight, they're, very, very amenable to that.
All right.
So you kind of won the crowd over a little bit first. And so the point comes in the night when Nalna Rin of the Guild of Song announces that they are going to hear this variety of musicians from all around Trennis play some of these unique instruments. And it will be a very educational experience for us all. And it starts with the dour dwarf, and he bangs on the drum and recites dwarf poetry for a moment, and nobody gets it. It's just lost on the crowd, and he kind of stomps off, dejected. And then Orphan's up. So, Orphan, why don't you roll me a perform check?
Okay. Let's see. I think that's.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick.
Uh-huh.
Don't roll a 1.
Here comes
So
a
I
1.
feel like I can roll well on this because it doesn't matter to anything.
That's pretty well.
Not bad.
So that's a 19.
A 19, okay.
Assuming I get my proficiency bonus with Tasham.
You do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was given to you for being a monk, yes?
Yes.
From your
Wait, do you have proficiency flute?
No, because I don't play a flute.
So you give this great
play a
performance, and you've been practicing.
Yeah, I want to just introduce myself. This is a traditional song performed at the monastery of the Weaving Mother, and blah blah blah.
Okay.
And before I go into the piece,
you give this rousing performance, and it's very unique to the ears of the gathered musicians. And you perform very well. You perform better than you feel you performed all day, and you're very proud of yourself. You get a round of applause at the end.
Yay!
And after that, during the night, many people approach you and thank you for the performance.
Including Eldove, who comments on your great use of the shawm, which he has not heard very often. Benefits of noble education. He knows what the fuck a shawm is.
Seems to be talking with the pirate.
thank you.
Very interesting indeed. Scribble.
So do you approach
He says,
Eldove at any
personally,
point?
I play the flute.
Do I or does Khalil?
Khalil, do you approach Eldove at any point in the evening?
Not really, no.
No? Okay. Just keeping note
Do
of
I
it?
notice this asshole following me?
Yeah. Well, no, probably not. I don't know.
Are you trying... what?
I'm not trying
I
to
wouldn't
be...
I wouldn't be looking for it.
No, I know.
And
Are you trying
would
to...
be a little bit surreptitious about it.
Okay, roll me a stealth check then, Khalil.
That'll be great.
Eldove's passive perception is 12, so you gotta beat a 12.
Okay. Take this and let's go 12 games.
12 games?
Need to roll at least a 10. I didn't roll a 10.
You absolutely notice this guy, and he's watching you, and every time, like, you're not really looking out for him, but every time you see him, he immediately, like, turns his head. Like, I wasn't looking at you. Go away. So you definitely notice that this guy has been watching you all night.
I go up to speak with him,
Okay.
and he came in under the pretense of being an officer, right? So I know he's an officer. Like, he probably has a uniform on or something, right?
Yeah, he's here on official business from the Wall Walkers, but you don't recognize his face.
I say, so you're a wall walker, huh? You know,
Indeed.
I have actually had more dealings with the wall walkers than I expected recently. I met one of you on the ship that I came in on the other day, and I met with your captain the other day. You know, your captain's a very interesting fellow.
He's just letting you talk. Just letting you talk. I see.
So, why have you been following me? Because, you know, the last I spoke to your captain, he didn't seem to have, any particular problems with me.
Well, I don't know about that, but I can't really speak to that, so.
You can't speak to why you're following him?
Yeah. Confidential. Yeah.
Very
part
much
of an
such.
ongoing investigation.
And Eldove saying to him at itself at this point, God, no wonder the fucking nobles have been walking all over these policemen. If this is the standard to which they hold themselves.
Whoa. There was a friggin' echo there for a minute there.
Oh God, what has happened to you, Mega Man? Mega Man, stop! Mega Man, why?
But yeah, well,
Playing-
didn't mean no
playing
offense
Katamari
by
Damacy
it,
now.
but you're, I'll leave you alone then.
I'd be glad if you did.
I'll back right
And
the
then
fuck
I'll
off.
just, I just clearly dismiss him and walk away, like not even listening to his goodbye or whatever.
He doesn't give you one.
Good.
There's alcohol at this party. Who's drinking?
Not me. I'm on.
Oh,
I'm
he's
on-
drinking.
I'm working.
I'm after my performance I drink.
I'm on the job.
After your performance, Nal the Rin basically gives you lots and lots of drinks. Like, anytime she sees you without a drink in your hand, she comes up, once again, congratulates you on the performance, and fills your cup.
Alright. I'll drink it.
Okay. Does anybody want to do anything else important at the party? Anybody else you guys
Yeah,
want to talk to?
I
or-
do.
What's up, man?
I want to drink with Fred.
Well, if there's somebody you're going to drink with, like, Fred's always game.
He's with another pirate. Scribble, 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 scribble.
Wait, are you actually, like, scribbling something down?
Yeah.
He's actually taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, like, one of those little clay tablet, one of those little, like, wax tablets out, and he's sketching away on
I'm
it.
just gonna call over. Would you like a drink?
No, thank you.
All right, then. I'm gonna be like, Fred, this guy's been following me around for, like, the last 3 hours.
He slaps you on the back, and he says, God bless you, you've made a friend.
Oh, yeah. And that's also in character. Like, Eldove just starts laughing.
I know it's unlikely because you said it's mostly attended by the the artist guild. But do I see any of the 3 people that I know from the School of Senses here?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no way they would have been invited. In fact, the musicians they regard the wizards as stuffy and regimented, and they don't want anything to do with them.
All right.
So
I just assume this is normal. I'll talk to anybody who'll talk to me.
Yeah, Eldove's meetings for the party is mostly just to be seen there as a patron of the arts, essentially. Like, doesn't have any particular plans.
One point in the night, when Fred is good as toasted, he's kind of waving back and forth on his bench. He's like, well, I suppose I should go apologize to Orphan for the way that I acted. But I don't think I can make my feet work. And he reaches up and says, Eldove, can you help me up?
I kind of wave myself, and I pick him up, and I say, Fred, this is good for you to do this. Loyalty to one's shipmates is an admirable thing, Fred.
And of course, Khalil hears you say shipmates and
Scribble, 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 scribble.
And you guide Fred over to Orphan. And Fred looks at you and says, Orphan, I acted like a jerk. And and he upchucks all over you.
Wonderful.
Don't worry, Orphan. I got this, and I cast prestidigitation on Orphan and clean her clothes.
And Fred says, see, that's why we're so good for each other.
I'm a little bit tipsy myself today. All is forgiven, Fred. Why don't we have a drink to Aldrich? To Adric.
Got his frickin' name.
And then Fred immediately, you don't even know his name?
Fred, I've been meeting with sorcerers today, and I feel like you would make a fine one after that acid splash.
No, he does. He gets everybody a refill, and he calls Nalnarin over, and Nalnarin gets quiet in the room. Fred says, everyone, I'd like to drink to my friend Adric. He says, let's hear it for Adric. And
I shouted, hear, hear.
Aww. A drunk guy thought I was cool.
Orphan.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the night, Rin, along with this, the owl of the Songbirds of Isis, this Het, this priest of Isis, in a very kind of coy way, she invites you back to her bedroom with them.
Alright. I think I'm drunk enough to come along.
And exactly what you expect to happen happens back there.
Awesome.
There is a great drunken orgy between this elf and this Qiscan man and this Tiefling.
It's good to see people appreciating Tieflings.
You weren't invited to the orgy, so...
this is an out of character comment, sir.
And so, Orphan has an amorous experience with some very important people from Qisca. So, last question of the night. Does anybody have anything else they need to do between now and the vote?
Not particularly, no. Unless I were to,
So the vote's in 2 days after this?
Tomorrow is the last day of the tournament.
Yeah.
That's when the winner of the tournament, the purse will be awarded. The day after that will be the guild hall meeting.
Okay. No, not that I can think of. I've accomplished pretty much everything I set out to do, except for the stuff that I failed miserably at.
Eldove?
Who's the person who killed Adric?
Mount John.
Mount John.
I put
Mount
a 20
John.
platinum piece of bet on Mount John to win the tournament.
No, Mount John was killed in his next fight.
that's,
Well, I get to keep my 20 fleeces then, thank God.
No.
In that case, who was it that I got a tip to visit? It was one of the...
The emissary
one of
of
the
the
Sandals.
Luvelnator. Yeah. The emissary because you were told that he had interest in dealing with the Sylvan Elves across the ocean, but has had great difficulty doing so. And you really don't have anything to offer in the way of trade, but I said you could probably bluff it, given how close the vote is and how they won't be able to check up on it.
How successful has he been at all?
The Sand Elf?
Yeah.
You have no idea. You've heard of them because the Sand Elves comprise like most of the elves in this world, but they have much more dealings in mortal trade with all different races than the Sylvan Elves. The Sylvan Elves basically just keep to themselves.
did I hear how successful he has been with the Sylvan Elves? Like, has he even gotten in contact with them?
As far as you know, nobody's been successful in dealing with the Sylvan Elves. You had you had a little bit of an in because one of your parents is a Sylvan Elf themselves, but even you have been unsuccessful in setting up actual trade with them.
You know what? I'm just so that we can fast track this as much as possible.
Okay.
Because I have to go to bed relatively soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to set up a meeting with him, and I'm going to tell him most of the truth. Like, maybe a slight exaggeration of how much contact I've had, but tell him that I've been trying to set up trade, that I've had at least the success of being able to contact them, and that perhaps if we were to work together, we would be able to be more successful between us.
He inquires which of your parents was an elf.
My mother.
And what is her story? Why did she come out of the woods and mate with one of the humans?
I tell him that I'm just going to start making stuff up here, and
Okay.
if anything doesn't match up with the setting, just let me know, and I'll come up with something else.
Well, I show you this number, but he literally rolled a 1 on his insight, so you got to beat, I think, a 5 on your deception roll.
I'm going to tell him that
Tell him whatever you want.
I'm going to tell him whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, go ahead and make the deception check and beat a 5.
We'll come up with something some other time.
Okay, easily,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
easily enough. Man, wouldn't it have been nice if I rolled that 1 when Mount John was beating the shit out of Adric?
That would have been nice.
I would have got to keep my money.
So you make up all these like fanciful promises for him, and he seems very taken by the fact that he's sitting in a room with someone of Sylvan Elf heritage. He's met many half-elves before, but no half-elves of your particular bloodline. So at the end of the meeting, he basically comes down to, so for my support of the Jarl, and the support of the other elven guilds in Qisca, you can help me open the door to these trade with the elves of the forests.
I'm going to tell...
Yeah, is that basically what you're trying to sell him on?
I'm basically trying to sell him, like, I'm not selling him that, oh yeah, I can do this, like, no problem, like, I'll be able to just hook you up, but I'm telling him that I have at least had way more success than he has, which is none.
Yeah.
And that, I honestly think that if I had his resources as well as mine, that we could both succeed.
Okay.
I'm only fudging it a little, not a whole lot. Like, I don't want him to be like, hey, man, you told me that your fucking cousin was a Sylvan half-elf who wanted to set up trade. Like, what the fuck?
Gotcha. Okay, so the vote's going to take place the next day. That is the end of the session. Everybody go ahead and give yourself your level up. Except for McDohl.
Khalil?
Yeah, Khalil starts at level 3. That puts him 1 level lower than the other lowest level person, who will be level 4, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Nobody used... Wait, who used their banana? Somebody did.
I did.
Nick
did.
used his banana.
So, McDohl, you get banana?
I've already got a banana.
You already had banana. Okay, so I guess... Nodal, you get banana. So you used
thank you
yours
for the
last
banana.
session, and you gained it. While you guys are leveling up, I'm going to go ahead and tally up the votes here.
Wait, Rick, I want you here for just a second.
Okay. Well, I'm not going
about to
anywhere.
roll- I'm about to roll my HP.
Ah, well, this is the best
be
part of the
hilarious.
session. Well, there you go.
Oh, it's not a 1.
All right.
Yay!
It's still less than average, though.
Oh, yeah. But
And
here's the thing you maybe don't understand about my character. I roll for everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
For credit.
Everything's fated.
Prior
I
to the
don't
vote,
decide much.
prior to the voting, I will take the notes that I had been gathering on Eldove and give them to old boy.
Okay. See, while you guys are leveling up, I'm going to go ahead and tally these votes.
Okay.
I cannot believe that you all just... look, I don't work too hard to get Adric revived. That's a...
Hey, I was not just not working hard. I was actively opposing it. I would
Yeah,
do
true.
everything I could think of to not get Adric revived.
That fucker lost me 4 trade ships worth of gold. He's lucky I didn't ship him into the fucking river. I should have sold his scales to the divers.
Well, glad to see you feel that way, asshole.
I cast enhance ability. I did my part.
Like, you know what, Nodal? It's like, for Khalil, this is just his job trying to get you boned over. But for me, it's pleasure.
Alright, so Zook rigged the table at the ancient and exalted order of Eretsu. That was 1 vote for Nibiri.
Mm-hmm.
The Council of Fine Arts, the Guild of Song, and the Songbirds of Isis, they threw in with House Estenu, thanks to Fred's,
Carousing.
yeah, that's the word I was looking for, I guess.
Who were the 2 people that I boned at the end there?
You-
That was Al Het and who else?
You boned Nalna Rin and Al Het.
Okay.
And later you will learn that Fred was also invited to the party, but declined. He only has eyes for the ladies. And Al Het is definitely a man, so. I don't know whether Agnar went with it or not. Went with you guys or not. I'll have to find that out at the end. He returned the B clasp, so that's 2 more votes for Nibiri. You got the Divers Guild for Estenu.
The Divers Guild for Estenu? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he returned the Mermaid's Trident
Mm.
to Nalna Shizue, and the Divers Guild was very much appreciated of it. Most of these other disinterested guilds didn't really come into play.
To be real here, I don't think Eldove really gives a shit if he wins or not. Like, as far as he's concerned, he did his job, and he also got like way in with a bunch of other dudes that have nothing to do with it. Like, he's happy with making contacts.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. So we swayed the Wall Walkers away from Nibiri and got them in for Estenu. You took care of the Lamplighters Guild kind of on its own. House Hamu, you paid him off and gave him your clothes.
Oh, yeah, I need to find out, did people appreciate his clothes? Like, did they think he looked good?
No, within 1 day, he pissed away all the money and sold the clothes. So.
Oh, that motherfucker. I'm so disappointed.
So now we know exactly what he would have accomplished in 10 days with
It was very, very, very close, Eldove, but at the end of the day, at the end of the vote, due to your dealings with the various guild leaders, the vote came down 25 to 21 to retain the Jal.
Nice.
So House Estenu has remained in power.
Woo!
Yay!
Fortunately, Taros won't see that as Zook's fault when he comes back.
Meanwhile, Zook's gonna be like, I didn't give a fucking shit.
No, he didn't. Surprisingly, both the Guild of Justice and the Guild of Free Men voted for Estenu, which are... Both of those guilds are run by House Nibiri, because they were swayed so much by your words at the dinner. That's what the roles you had made. So that actually does cause a bit of a rift within the house behind closed doors, but the public isn't really privy to a lot of that.